Hi friends, I'm Dr. Ryan here. Today I'll be discussing in this video what are the principles of group work and being a group worker or being a social worker, how these principles can be implemented practically while taking the group activities or group work, and why every social worker should know or should have a thorough understanding of principles of group work. So it is very clearly said that principles are guiding assertion or statement that have come from experiences or research. The group worker must understand the basic principles of social group work and must be guided by them in his professional practice. Dear friends, as I already told you that principles are guiding assertion or statement that have come from experience or research. It means that whatever principles we are seeing right now or whatever principles we are going to discuss in this video, it is said that these are the principles which are given or examined by professionals so that the group work should go in a smooth way. Not only should go in a smooth way, you can understand the positive aspects, you can understand the negative aspects, as well as you can also see how the group has to grow. You can also see how and what we need to do for the group for the development. At the same time, I think, dear friends, you will all agree with me that if the group has to go in a very smooth manner, if the group has to function in a very smooth manner, then we have to follow certain principles so that we can see the group development, we can see the members development, and we can see the individual development. That is why it has very systematically said, very systematically analyzed, very systematically recorded that these are the principles. If you follow once you do your group activity or group work, that will definitely help you as a group worker, that will definitely help you to grow. At the same time, it will also help your group members and individuals to grow and develop so that the group task or the group goal can be achieved in a very smooth manner. So dear friends, here I have taken the principles given by Konopka. So let us go one by one the principles of group work. First one, which is very clear, individualization in the group and individualization of the group. Dear friends, we know that each individual is unique and each individual is having his own skills, abilities, strengths, positives and negatives. So individualization in the group, which clearly says that each individual is important in the group. You cannot leave any individual in the group. At the same time, you should give proper guidance, proper motivation, proper in charge, and what I can say, proper information. Not only information, what I want to say here, you need to concentrate on each individual because each individual is unique and each individual is a part of the group. That is why it is individualization in the group. It means that in very clear way, each individual is important in the group. At the same time, individualization of the group. Individualization of the group means group is not a only individual. There are many members, maybe 10, 15, 20. There can be many members. So that what we need to really do is that as the individual has to grow in the group, at the same time everybody has to grow in the group. So as you give importance to individual in the group, similarly you should give proper information, proper attention and proper development of the group, so that what happened, the individual will also grow in the group, the members will also grow in the group, at the same time the group as a whole will grow. Genuine acceptance of each individual with his unique strength and weakness. I think this every group worker has to follow in a very systematic way because, as I said already, each individual is unique. Each individual is having his own shortcomings, blocks. So you cannot reject any individual based on caste or any religion or culture. No, that is not allowed in social work at all. Everybody has to be accepted, everybody has to be guided, everybody has to be motivated. If the person is not skillful, let us make him skillful. If the person is already having skills, we will enhance his skills little more so that everybody in the group develop. The person who doesn't know anything and the person who knows everything are both are the part of the group. So what we need to do here is that whatever the skills they have, whatever the talents they have, whatever the informations they have, we need to accept it and we need to see that we accept every individual, we accept their strengths, we accept their weakness, and we help them or we allow them to grow in the group. Establishment of purposeful helping relationship between group worker and group member. Dear friends, it is very important to know that purposeful helping relationship is here. I have not mentioned the personal relationship. Purposeful helping relationship is nothing but yours being a group worker, or what I can say being a social worker, and your group members. You should have a cordial relationship, because if you have a cordial relationship, then only the group will grow, then only the group will develop. So why it is purposeful helping relationship? Because you are there to help the group members to go. You know, the social work, it's very clearly say that helping people to help themselves. So your cordial relationship with the group members will help them to grow, will help them to achieve the group task, will help them to go the process in a very smooth manner. So you should have a purposeful helping relationship. Dear friends, why the word has been used here, purposeful helping relationship? Because the group is formed based on a purpose. The group has to develop based on a certain values, and there is a purpose. So you know, you cannot be having an individual relationship here, you cannot have intimate relationship here, but it is should be a professional and should be guided by a person and a purpose. So here the next principle, encouragement and enabling of helpful and cooperative relationship between group members. So dear friends, very clearly it is says that encouragement and enabling of helpful and cooperative relationship between group members. Because see, imagine if there are 10 people, if there are 20, if there are 30 people in the group, as I told you already, each individual is unique. Each individual is having his own strengths, positives, negatives, and all. So if the group has to grow, if the group has to develop, everybody has to work for the task, everybody has to work for one common task. So here what happens, friends, encouragement and enabling of helpful and cooperative relationship between group members. So being a group worker, what I need to really do, or what I need to really understand is that helpful and cooperative relationship, where each member has to understand each member, each member has to help other members, so that together they have to grow, together they have to achieve task, together they have to achieve developmental tasks of the group work. One more important, the word here which clearly says that enabling of helpful and cooperative, it means that every individual has to be considered, every individual has to be valued, every individual has to be given proper responsibility. Is not something partial. You give somebody a high responsibility, give somebody low responsibility. That is why in the previous slide which I've told you already, helping and cooperative relationship in one way. Second thing, that you need to accept the individual with his unique strength and weakness. Why we need to accept the individual with unique strength and weakness? Because each has got their own skills, each had got their own abilities, and each is guided with their own value. When they come to group, we should make them to feel that now group is a family for them. So that what happened, we guide every individual, we concentrate on every individual, so that they grow together in the group. So what we need to really understand here is that encouragement of enabling a helpful and cooperative relationship between group member, in the sense that every group member has to be considered. If at all you plan anything, if at all you want to do something for the group, it you have to see to it that it has to be with the consent of the group members. See, sometimes what happens, dear friends, the group worker sometimes concentrate discuss with only few, and sometimes the group worker will discuss with only one or two members of the group, then he will discuss in the group members. So here what happens in that, before you discuss, the members will show that group worker has discussed only with us, and nothing has done. Because see, nothing has done in the sense, why I'm using the word nothing has done, because if you follow this principle that you only discuss with few, then you discuss with the group members, then what happened, you create a bridge of block. The bridge will not connect between group worker and group members. Then what happened, your group might dissolve, or they may not like you as a group worker. When you involve everybody in the process of group work, no matter whether there is a problem, no matter whether there is a program, no matter whatever the issue, if you have to if you involve everybody in the group, then the group will develop in a better way. So that the duty of a group worker is to see that you need to have a cordial cooperative relationship between group members. If it is not happening, the duty of the group worker is to make it happen so that the group may function in a smooth way. Now here the next point, next principle clearly states that appropriate modification of the group process. Dear friends, every group, now here I can't tell you the group has to follow certain process. No, every group based on the idea, based on its formation or based on the development, they have different types of process. But you might be knowing there is one process which everybody has to follow, that even I am making a video of group process separately, that I will discuss what process you have to follow. But here what I want to really say that every group has to follow some process, and that process has to be followed very systematically. If need, you need to do modification, because see friends, what happened, change change is the basic principle of the group. Every member joined the group to see inner change, outer change, and group change and members change. If together we have to achieve something, the group has to function in a proper way. So the process of the group work, for example, simple example I'll give you. If any problems are there in the group, if you want to organize any program, if you want to achieve any task, if you want to take up any task, if you want to take up any project, or if you want to take up something new, if the new member has to join to the group, if some mass event you have to organize, so every group has to follow its own process in every aspect, even the minor aspect or major aspect. Every group has to follow its own process. Dear friends, again I'll repeat the same thing once again. I'll be uploading a video on the group process or process of group work. In that exactly you will come to know what is the process the group has to follow. If at all the group has to success, there is a particular process which all should have and which should be followed, so that what happens is that the group functions in a very smooth way. Now, encouragement of each member to participate according to the stage of the capacity, enabling him or her to become more capable. Dear friends, here I want to discuss two principles once again. One is accepting the individual with his unique strength and weakness. Again, one more you can see in the slide here, enabling of helpful and cooperative relationship between group members. And the present, now one more principle which I'm going to discuss with you is that according to the stage of the capacity, enabling him or her to become more capable. Dear friends, you know that as I said you, the first principle, each individual is unique. See, my capacity is different, and the people, those who are listening to you, your capacity is different. And if at all you are a social worker, or if at all you are a group worker, your group members' capacities are different. Now, my ultimate agenda or my ultimate goal is that every member has to grow, every member has to develop, every member has to achieve with the group. So, development has to take place together. Individual has to grow, members has to grow, the group has to grow, and ultimately the group has to achieve its goal. Then what happens is that if that has to happen, we need to give chance to everybody, but we cannot force the people. For example, if one person is unable to come and speak in front of everybody, you cannot force him to come and speak. If one person is unable to act in front of everybody, you cannot force him to come and act in front of everybody. No, that will be wrong on my part. What I need to really do is that how to make him more capable. That is the word I have used here, enabling him or her to become more capable. Now how I can make the person more capable? Okay, if the person is feeling shy, if the person is having fear to come and speak in front of people, what strategies I can use, what methods I can use? See, I still remember, and one example I have to give you, where in the class what we need to really do is to make our students to make our students develop the communication skill. We should say every day one person has to come and speak for 1 or 2 minutes. Fine, we don't expect them to speak 5 or 10 minutes, 1 or 2 minutes. So what happened if when this activity we do it regularly? So first day when they come and speak, they may be nervous, fearful, shaky hands. Then as this activity continues on a regular basis, maybe Out of 1 hour, devoting 1 or 2 minutes for the student is not a big thing. So let them come in front of, let them speak. So what happened, slowly they develop this. See here, what are the skills they are developing? Communication skill they are developing. Stage fear is gone. They can see the people, they can face the people, and they can speak. So first they might not able to even speak for 1 minute, but later as the days goes and they can speak for more. Similar way, acting, first group acting, individual acting. That is why we need to understand that who is lacking what. That is the duty of group worker, or the skill of group worker, or the technique of the group worker. Who is lacking what, and how we can make members more capable, and how together we can help the members to grow. For example, imagine if your group is lacking knowledge of different aspects. Organize program for them so that they will develop their knowledge. So you are making them more capable to understand the knowledge. Or if at all you feel that they are lacking skills, call a resource person and organize the program where they can enhance their skill. So what happens is that with all the means you are helping the members to grow their skills and talent, and later you give them the chance to perform their skill. So that what happened, see, this is a very meaningful principle here in the group work, where you are helping the individual first to develop his capacity, to develop his skills and talent. Later you need to use the skill and capacity and talent, otherwise it goes waste. So whatever input you are doing, the results has to come out. So that is why I personally feel that every group worker or every social worker should give more emphasis, or should give more importance to this principle, so that what happens is that everybody will come to know what are their skill, what are their talents, and at the same time, when you give them a chance, or when you give them a stage to perform, automatically they grow. When they grow, their personality grow. When the personality grow, the skills grow, the communication level will grow, individual will grow, members will grow. Ultimately the task is the group will grow. Yeah. The next principle is that enabling members to involve themselves in the process of problem solving. Dear friends, I'll be combining these two principles. Enabling group members to experience increasingly satisfactory forms of working through conflicts. Dear friends, in my previous video, if at all you have observed, I have uploaded a video on dynamics of groups. In the dynamics of group video, I have clearly explained you that what are the changes we see in the group. See, always we need to remember one thing. Problems are part of our life. As similar way, problems are part of group. So what we need to really know here is that these two principles, enabling members to involve themselves in the process of problem solving. You should be very clear that if any problem arise in the group, being a group worker, you are not the person who is directly solving the problem based on your perception or based on your knowledge. No, that I always say that it is wrong. What you need to really do is that identify the problem, identify the source of the problem, identify how the problem is really creating an impact for the group, and try to find out how you can involve the members in this process of problem solving. Rather you as a group worker initiating and solving the problem, you involve the group members in the process of problem solving. That can be anything. So tomorrow what happens is that if any issues comes, you are helping them to learn how to solve the process. See dear friends, what happens is that every time if you solve the problem, then you are not allowing your members to grow, then the members will not grow. So here the very strictly and very seriously I'm saying this, because if any problems arise, if any situation arise, if any difficulties arise, you need to involve the members and you need to solve the problem. Then what happened is that in future they make that as a habit. If any problems arises, if any difficulties arises, or if any situation where the situation is blocking the group, so then what happened, everybody will sit together, everybody will come together, and they themselves see that the problem has to be solved. Being a group worker, you can guide them, you can show them the way, you can tell them the alternatives of how to solve the problem, but ultimately the end result in the sense solving of the problem should be the part of group members. same time enabling group members to experience increasingly satisfactory forms of working through conflicts. For this particular principle, I really request you friend to watch my previous video on dynamics of groups, where I have already mentioned you that conflicts are part of group. You cannot stop conflicts, or you cannot say that the conflicts may never arise in the group. No, conflicts may arise. In that video I have also mentioned what are the different ways what are different ways you can utilize or you can use to solve the conflict. Because always remember one thing, conflicts are part of group, and whenever the conflicts arises, very skillfully or in a very talented way, you need to solve the conflicts. Because if you don't solve the conflicts in the proper way, that may block your group, that may create negative vibrations in the group, or that may spoil the group environment, or there is also chance that your group may dissolve. Dear friends, many a time we have seen that some organization, some big groups and all dissolve because of the not properly handling the conflicts or improper way of handling the conflicts. So that is why whenever there is a situation of conflicts, or whenever the conflicts arises, it is very important to know that it has to be solved in a very systematic way. Next, provision of opportunities for new and differing experiences in relationship and accomplishment. See here, dear friends, I have already told you, being a group worker, it is my duty, or being a social worker, it is our duty to see that we provide more number of opportunities, and we give more number of opportunities in the group, so that the group may grow not only in the way we want, but it can grow more than the way that we want. So here the principles very clearly says that provision of opportunities for new and differing experiences in relationship and accomplishment. That is why, dear friends, we know that relationships are part of the group, but nowhere anywhere in the next principle I will also add that it cannot be misused, or it cannot be negatively used. That is why providing opportunities, for example, I have told you before when discussing in this video, if your group is lacking something, try to organize, call resource persons from outside or call experts from outside, give the information to your group members, give them the task, give them the information, see that the group has proper communication, see that the group have proper environment, see that the group members are together, see that if any conflicts arises, you know how to solve it. So then what happened, when you give them opportunities, new opportunities, when you give them, when you organize new program, when you organize new events, when people come from outside and talk, that will have different environment, and that will create different impact in group. So here, one more thing which is very important, judicial use of limitations related to the diagnostic assessment of each individual and total situation. Dear friends, you need to be very careful, or being a social worker or being a group worker, you should be very careful. Judicial use of limitations related to the diagnostic assessment of each individual and total situation. See, sometimes what happened, see what I can say, out of curiosity or out of anything, we suddenly come to a conclusion. If there is an individual problem, we suddenly come to a conclusion. If there is a group problem, we come to a conclusion. Or if any situations arise, especially during problem solving or especially during conflicts and all, here we need to see that judicial use of limitations related to the diagnostic assessment of each individual and total situation. We cannot judge any individual, or we cannot give sudden conclusions to any individual saying that this guy has done that, this guy has done that, and this you are having this problem, you are having that problem. Sometimes there are chances where the individual, your group members may come and share you their personal problem. So you have to be very careful. No matter anywhere, any situation, you are going to explore that problems in front of group members. One thing. Second thing, if any situations arise, you should see to it that when you judge an individual, you have to be very careful, because each individual is unique, and you cannot directly give any solutions or any suggestion. That is why, see, the word says you very clearly, judicial use of limitations related to the diagnostic assessment of each individual and total situation. That is why being a group worker, see here especially being a group worker, you should know what is your limitation and what limitations you have when it comes to assessment of each individual. That is why you need to use this. You have to be very careful when you assess the each individual and the total situation. And dear friends, again the next principle in connection to that very clearly says that purposeful and differential use of program according to diagnostic evaluation of individual members, group purpose and appropriate social goal. Dear friends, why the word has been used here program? Because see, sometimes in a social work we take case work, correct na? In social work we organize program. In social work we organize we also work with community people. So here this principle especially concentrating on group members and group individual. So whenever you want to, as I told you in my previous slide, that you need to organize program, you need to call resource person from outside, you need to call expert from outside, fine, everything is fine, but whatever you organize that has to benefit the group members, and whatever you organize that should be the need of your group. You cannot organize anything which you want. No, that is not actually advised, that is not actually suggested in the group. You need to organize the programs, talks or any activities that is the interest of the group members. Usually when I teach my students, what I really say that whenever you organize any program for the group, you should see that that has to benefit the group member and that should be their need. Many time whatever students do is when they go and organize a program, usually they ask what programs do you want, or which area of information you want, or what actually you feel for the group, what we need to do. Then they will suggest many things. Based on that we organize the program. At the same time, whatever students also do is that when they take a group work, they also see that there are some issues and there are some problems. They take as a case, they study, they give individual attention, they give individual concentration, and they see to it that the member has to grow, the individual has to grow. Similarly, I'm connecting these two principles. One is judicial use of limitation and purposeful and differential use of program according to diagnostic evaluation of individual member, group purpose and appropriate social goal. So here what group worker has to see to it that the program, the activities, the expert talk or anything should be the need of group members, not of group worker. At the same time, if we feel that the individual needs special attention, it has to be done very systematically. You need to take it as a case, you need to study in that process, case process you have to follow, and proper information you should have with you. And then only what you can do is you can see that the group is growing. Why I'm saying this? Because again my conclusion here is that everything what you do should be the need of group members. And again, see, it is a very simple principle here. Ongoing evaluation of individual and group progress, because it is everybody has to do. You need to see that whether the individuals are growing, whether the group is progressing, or whether the group is stagnant. Because why members join the group? Because one is they have to grow as an individual, they have to grow as a member, and as a group they have to grow. So that is why ongoing evaluation of individual and group progress is very important. And again here group worker should know that it has to be done with the help of individual group members. You cannot do evaluation by your own. There should be proper question and answer, there should be discussion, and you should also see that whether the group is growing or not, whether the what are the things you should implement in the group, what are the activities you should do in the group. Then what happens is that it is easy for you to understand what way the group is growing, or what way in which way the group is going. So you can do proper modification, you can do what I can say, you can do proper modification, you can do proper adjustment so that the group will grow, the individuals will grow and the members will grow. And here one more important thing is that warm, humane and disciplined use of self on the part of group worker. See, nowhere the group worker, nowhere the social worker can use the member for his individual purpose, for a personal benefit. No, never. It has not suggested at all. The group worker should have professional relationship with members and individuals. Everything should be professional. You cannot use the group for your individual purpose and individual benefit. So warm, humane and disciplined use of self on the part of group worker is nothing but nowhere you should see that you are using the members, using the individuals for your benefit to get your work done. No, it should be purely professional. Your ultimate goal is the group has to grow and the group members has to grow. Dear friends, it is really a very lengthy topic. The group principles of group work is really a very lengthy topic. Actually what I did is that I wanted to help you to understand each principle. I have not given you much examples here, but I have given you very precise examples, very small examples, because for you also to listen for continuously one night is very tough. So within this duration what I really helped you is to understand each principle. So I have given you the meaning of each principle so that you can understand, you can analyze why these principles are very important. Now, dear friends, you might have to come to know that why being a social worker, why being a group worker, I should follow these principles. Here, the important thing what you need to know is that if you follow the principles in a very systematic way, you can really easily, systematically, smoothly work with group members. One is your group members will grow, individuals will grow, your group will grow. So see, from the individualization in the group and from the warm, humane and disciplined use of self on the part of group worker, each principle concentrate on the group member, the individual, the group goal, the group progress, the group process and the group development and the group worker. So here what I need to really know that how well I am implementing my how well I am implementing these principles in the group. So that is why I still remember whenever students goes to field work in social work, we need to really tell them that we used to tell them to highlight what principle did you learn when you do this activity, or which principle did you apply today in your group work. That is why the practicality has to happen. So usually what happened when when they implement this in a practical way, then they grow, then they understand. That is why through this video I also request the social worker faculties and those people who are watching, whenever you take, see, these principles may be for the group work, but this principle can be implemented in any group, because if any of you are really handling a group, if you implement these principles when you do your group activity, you can smoothly function in your group, because then there will be no clashes. At the same time, I also request you to watch my previous videos on dynamics of group, which will help you the changes which happens in the group, the problems that takes place in the group, and how the group can grow. So, dear friends, this is my YouTube channel. If at all you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, I kindly request you to subscribe, and if possible, share among your friends, share among your relatives, and I specially request you to share this video among social work students, or those individuals, those who handle groups, or NGO directors who handles group, or NGO staff those who handle group. One or the other way, these principles or these information will help them to work better. Thank you.